How did North Sea oil change Europe? The rise, risks and future. The North Sea has had a profound impact on the economies, politics and environments of surrounding countries. Located mainly in the waters of the United Kingdom and Norway, it represents one of the most significant energy developments of the 20th century. From early exploration to large-scale production, the region has driven economic growth and shaped national energy strategies. Oil and gas revenues have supported public spending, strengthened industry, and positioned both countries as key players in global energy markets. At the same time, the North Sea has been a center of technological innovation. Harsh offshore conditions pushed advances in drilling, platform design, and subsea systems, setting global standards for the industry. However, this success has also brought challenges. Environmental concerns, stricter regulations, and the need for large-scale decommissioning now define the latest stages of its life cycle. In this way, the North Sea story reflects a broader shift, from rapid industrial expansion to a more complex phase focused on sustainability, energy transition, and long-term environmental responsibility. Long before offshore platforms, the North Sea oil and gas story began on land. In 1851, James Young produced oil in Scotland, marking an early step in the region's energy industry. Exploration spread across Europe, with oil discovered in the Wheats field in 1859 and gas later found near Hamburg in 1910. In the UK, BP made key discoveries in the late 1930s, building early expertise. A breakthrough came in 1959 with the Groningen Gas Field, confirming the region's vast potential. These onshore discoveries laid the foundation for the North Sea's offshore boom, providing the knowledge and momentum for large-scale developments. The modern offshore era in the North Sea began in the 1960s, a decade of ambition, risk, and major breakthroughs. It started in 1964 with the UK Continental Shelf Act, opening the region to exploration. Early drilling efforts were uncertain, with several dry wells highlighting the risks involved. The first breakthrough came in 1965, when BP discovered gas in the West Sole field, though the same year saw tragedy with the Sea Gem rig disaster. Momentum continued as Conoco discovered the Viking gas field and offshore transport evolved with the introduction of helicopters. By 1966, multiple gas discoveries established the southern North Sea as a major gas province, although activity slowed briefly due to market conditions. Everything changed in 1969, when Phillips Petroleum discovered the Ekofisk Field, the first major oil discovery. This triggered rapid expansion, with major finds such as Forties, Brent, Statfjord, and Ninian following soon after. These discoveries transformed the North Sea into one of the world's leading oil regions, laying the foundation for decades of offshore development. The 1970s marked a turning point for both the global energy system and the North Sea. The 1973 oil embargo during the Yom Kippur War triggered the first oil shock, with prices rising sharply. A second shock in 1979, driven by the Iranian Revolution, reinforced the need for secure energy supplies. For Europe, the North Sea became essential. Production accelerated, with fields like Forties and Beatrice reducing reliance on imports, while major discoveries such as Gulfax, Oseberg, Snore, and Troll confirmed the region's global importance. Despite harsh conditions and high costs, these challenges drove innovation, including advances in seismic imaging and computing. This legacy continues today, with later discoveries like Buzzard and Johan Sverdrup showing ongoing potential. The oil crises ultimately accelerated the North Sea's rise as a key pillar of European energy security and technological progress. The history of the North Sea oil industry includes major tragedies that have shaped today's safety standards and highlight the risks of offshore operations. The most devastating was the Piper Alpha disaster in 1988. A series of gas explosions destroyed the platform, killing 167 men, the deadliest offshore accident in history. Investigations revealed failures in maintenance and safety procedures, showing how small issues can escalate under pressure. Another major event was the Alexander the 50th. killing disaster in 1980. A structural failure caused the rig to capsize, with only 89 of 212 workers surviving. These incidents led to stricter regulations, improved safety systems, and major changes in risk management. Today's offshore standards in design, operations, and emergency response are directly shaped by these lessons. In this way, the North Sea's history is not only one of energy production, but also of hard-learned lessons that continue to influence global offshore safety. The development of the North Sea oil industry has been driven by innovation. Harsh offshore conditions forced companies to push the limits of engineering and technology. Key advances include FPSOs, which enable offshore production without fixed platforms, and directional drilling, which improves efficiency by accessing more of the reservoir from a single location. Subsea technologies, such as ROVs, allow operations directly on the seabed, opening deeper and more complex fields. More recently, digitalization, through real-time monitoring and predictive analytics, has improved performance and reliability. In this way, technology has made North Sea production safer, more efficient, and more sustainable, and continues to shape its future. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, the North Sea reached a turning point. Production peaked in 1999 in the UK and 2001 in Norway, then began to decline as major fields matured. UK output, for example, dropped from over 4.5 million barrels per day to around 1.2 million. This decline is a natural part of the life cycle, as aging reservoirs become harder and more expensive to produce. The industry focus has shifted toward decommissioning, removing platforms and infrastructure safely. This process is complex, costly, and tightly regulated. Declining production does not mark the end of the North Sea's importance, but a transition into a new phase where managing legacy assets is just as critical as production once was. The history of the North Sea oil industry is ultimately a story of discovery, innovation, and transformation. From early exploration to large-scale production, it has shaped the economies, politics, and energy systems of countries like the United Kingdom and Norway, while setting global standards for offshore operations. Today, the industry is entering a new phase. Declining production, aging infrastructure, and the growing need for decommissioning are redefining its role, while environmental pressures and climate targets are accelerating the shift toward cleaner energy. At the same time, this transition creates new opportunities. The expertise, infrastructure, and supply chains developed over decades can now be repurposed for offshore wind, carbon capture and storage, and hydrogen projects. In this way, the North Sea is not simply fading as an oil province. It is evolving into a broader energy hub positioned to support a more sustainable energy future.